There we go. What's it look like on YouTube? That's what we need to find out.
Are we live?
Yeah.
I'm making a phone call. Oh, wait, hold on. No, I can check it on YouTube. Hold on.
That's what we need to find out. Okay, we're both on. I did it right. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so folks, we got everything going. We're gonna go ahead and start in about 3 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the starting soon, and we will be back with you. So just thank you for your patience, and we'll be right back. Hello, everybody. Hi, John. Can you hear me? No, he cannot. So we are still having issues. Okay, let me look at my settings here. Okay, now I know why. Okay, I know exactly how to fix this. Hello, everybody.
Check
Can you
one.
hear me?
I can hear you now.
All right. So, can you say, there we go. Hello,
We got.
everyone. Welcome to Sibling Sleuths. How are we all today? I'm just going to fix something right here, and then we can get started. So
Sorry, we're running a little bit late. We had some technical difficulties.
Yep, I think we have it figured out, so we are good now. I hope. Okay, I'm just going to fix some. Okay, so am I low now?
Yeah, you're a little bit low.
Okay.
On my end too.
What about chat? Can you hear me okay? Am I any louder?
You're good now. I can hear you.
Okay. All right. Well, go ahead, John. You could start us off. We're talking about the Casey Anthony case. So go ahead.
You want to do a little overview?
Oh, okay, sure.
Okay.
So, if you haven't heard of the Casey Anthony case, uh, a young mother said that her daughter was missing for 31 days, and her mother called the police. And according to People, I will read the summary from People, or from the biography channel. And in 2008, the world was captivated by the bizarre behavior displayed by Casey Anthony, the then 22-year-old single mother from Orlando, Florida, who was revealed to have spun a web of lies to cover up for the disappearance of her 2-year-old daughter, Kaylee, that summer. While her daughter was missing, now this is not me reading, this is just me telling you, she was partying around town with her boyfriend, living and checking up with her boyfriends. And finally, her grandmother had had enough and called the police. After that, the police questioned Kaylee and, I'm sorry, Casey Anthony, and she was in a just lie after lie, said she worked at Orlando's amusement park, Universal, and she didn't. She even took the detectives there. And then she finally, after, showing them where she worked, and of course, everybody was like, you don't, she just doesn't work here. She finally, revealed that she didn't work there. She said she had a nanny, Zanny the nanny, and yeah, so after, you know, being put in jail, they found the remains. I think it was like 6 months later, and she was put on trial. And Jose Baez got her off. He was able to put up a defense that worked with the jury, and she is now free to live her life. And there has never been any no resolution to the case, no justice for Keeley.
And we're just going to go through some of the timeline here. And this, again, is coming off People. That was just an overview. And we're going to discuss some of this deeper. July 15th is when Casey Anthony, or wait, hold on. Actually, June 16th, 2018, Casey Anthony and her daughter Kaylee leave the family's Florida home. And I believe, yeah, she didn't return for 31 days. She was missing.
Yeah.
And after that 31 days, when she came home, her mother actually reported her missing, which is kind of, I mean.
Well, what do you think about this 31 days? Like, I don't know how anyone could go 31 days without calling the cops.
In the article here, it says that, Casey finally admitted to her mom that she went missing. Why would you wait 30 days to report your daughter missing? I mean, as a parent, my kid goes missing, I'm reporting it as soon as possible. I mean, I'm not waiting.
Yep. But she did.
And that's when she said that her babysitter, the Zanny Fernandez Gonzalez, kidnapped Kaylee. I mean, if somebody kidnapped your daughter, once again, why would you wait 30 days? And once again, like you said, she was out partying with her friends.
But the defense was able to give enough reasonable doubts.
Well, we'll discuss that. We'll discuss that when we get to it. On July 16th, Casey was first arrested. One day after her mother reported Kaylee missing to the police, she was charged with child neglect, giving false statements, and obstruction. And also the claims that she worked at Universal Studios, which both statements turned out to be false, that she left her baby at this Zanny the Nanny's. And then finally, July 22nd is where she was the person of interest. October 14th is where she's indicted on first degree murder charges. And December 11th. So that would be, she was June 16th to December 11th. That's when they found the remains near the Anthony's home.
And
That's what really,
I remember though that that was an area that they used to bury pets in that neighborhood. Which, that's kind of sad.
yeah.
And it was very, very close to the home. And but due to all the flooding that happened during that time, that's why the body was not found, because there had been a lot of flooding and that area was covered in water, which is why again it took so long for them to find the body. So,
And a meter reader actually, Ray Kronk, it was in August, had called the police and said that he seen the skeletal remains, and the officers actually went down there and basically berated him and said, "Look the other way," and yelled at him for wasting his time. And he did testify to that in the court. But his testimony differed from previous depositions where he claimed the skull had fallen out of a bag he lifted 4 feet above the ground. And then on May 24th, 2011, Casey Anthony's murder trial begins.
and
Now,
before the trial even begins, there was so much media coverage of this trial. I
oh yeah,
remember when this happened, and I regularly consumed a whole bunch of media, especially at that time. Nancy Grace was really big, and she had everything, everybody under the sun on her show. And she would just, she called her Top Mom. And she would cover everything about this case. She had Leonard Padilla, a bounty hunter that had gotten Casey originally out of jail,
yeah,
and he was hoping that he could help find the body. To me, he seems like more like he was just trying to get some claim to fame. That's what it felt like to me. But he
yeah.
was on Nancy Grace's show a lot and about talking about the dynamics of the home, how Casey didn't seem to be concerned about finding her daughter when she was out of jail for that brief little period of time. It was like a media circus. And they put up all of the jailhouse videos of Casey that, with her talking to her parents, getting mad at her parents. It was, I mean, they just showed everything. And
And
with
then when
it,
she testified, what really got me going is when she basically said that her parents like abused and neglected her at home and stuff. I'm
yeah.
like, come on.
And even George and Cindy Anthony, they had a really tough time
Yeah,
during this time. And, to this day, they still have a lot of, people with them. I think they were, just grandparents who took care of that little girl, probably more than her mother did. And they were devastated. And I were there things that
yeah.
they did wrong? Yeah, probably. But who are we to say, they were grieving? And then not only that, they're losing their daughter. And no matter what she
Right.
did, how do you, how do you
I
deal with
mean,
that?
the evidence they had against her. Look, I mean, the computer searches for the chloroform. I mean,
But the computer searches, let's remember, the grandmother testified in court that she did those searches. Now, I
Was
don't
she
think
covering up for her daughter?
that's what I believe. I believe she was trying to take the fall for her daughter because she didn't want her daughter to die. Because remember, this was a death penalty case.
And see, that's where I think the prosecution went a little bit too far. I don't think they should have made it a death penalty case.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the jurors, where they got it off.
Well, I think there's a lot of things that went wrong. Excuse me. I think, the jurors, they were sequestered
Right.
for a very long time. Not as long as the O.J. Simpson trial, but still a very long time. And, I remember watching the trial. I watched most of it. Some of it was pretty boring. I remember watching the evidence about all the bugs, and like they had forensics people coming in talking about how you could tell like how old, how much a body had decomposed due to like all of the bugs and the maggots and stuff that were near the body, so they could tell how long, and just it was a very, very dry testimony. And then being sequestered over the summer, who's to say, I know the jury got a lot of flack, and I was upset with the verdict. But, that is our system at play in America. And, the prosecution probably did things wrong. I also think, too, that the defense, they did some things that they shouldn't have done.
Oh, yeah.
I don't understand. They put stuff out there that they didn't back up, including them saying that George Anthony molested his daughter.
Right. Well, at first I thought, because they found the daughter in the car. So at first I thought, okay. And George Anthony actually...
They didn't find the body. They found evidence.
They found remains.
No, they didn't find remains in the car. They found, as per what Casey Anthony's mom and dad both said, it smells like there's been a dead body in the
That's right.
the car. And both Cindy and Anthony and George both knew what the smell of decomposition smelled like. Her being a nurse and him being a cop.
Right.
And as a lot of people testified in that trial, that is a smell that you know what it is once you've smelled it.
Right.
I have no idea what it smells like, but I've heard even other people that I know have said that. That once you smell that, you'll know what it is. And that's the smell that they smelled. They even took samples of that air in the car. And I know at one point in his book, the one prosecutor said they talked about opening those canisters and letting the jury smell it. But they couldn't take that risk because they didn't know if it would actually, be able to, They didn't want to do a move like they did with the O.J. Simpson trial, where they had him try the gloves on. So, yeah. But yeah, so, so obviously she had her in the car, and she had her, they allege they had her in the car for a while. She drove around in that car with her remains in the car for a while. Until then, it must have gotten so bad that she left the car in the parking lot. And then what happened was someone called the Anthonys about the car, and that's when they went to go pick the car up, and then that's when they realized something happens. But yeah, so I mean, it's an interesting case, one that's never been fully solved. I mean, I think we all know who did it. I don't believe George did it.
I thought at first maybe he had something to do with it, but now I don't.
Yeah, honestly, I he seemed he's actually seemed even more like Cindy seemed to, like I said, I think she was torn between her granddaughter and her daughter and losing her daughter. You know, she's already lost her granddaughter. Does she want to lose her daughter too?
Yeah.
But I think the dad, he kind of knew what was up, and he, you know, I did watch the documentary that was just on, and even other specials that the Anthony's have done, like Dr. Phil, and just some other ones. I've noticed that like there's been a wedge between George Anthony and his wife, and what they think might have happened. And yeah, at one time she said she must have had a brain tumor and she's blocked all this out, and you know, maybe she did die in the pool. That's another theory. The defense said that she died in the pool, that she drowned. So no one murdered
Yep.
Kaylee. She drowned in the pool. What do you think about that theory?
I don't. You lied about it. I think that's just another thing. Well, that's like, well, what was that documentary that she just did? Where the truth lies?
Yeah.
That to me was complete narcissism, trying to blame everybody else except for herself.
Yeah. I mean, that documentary just kind of shows you what kind of person Casey is, and I don't think she's changed. And the one thing in the documentary that was just aired, it showed that George and Cindy Anthony did not watch that documentary. So they did not know a lot of the allegations that she made in this documentary. And they were floored. And they were pretty angry. And even the mom, like, she had nothing good to say about her daughter after it was all said and done. It doesn't sound like they really talk anymore. And it's a shame. The whole thing is a shame, you know. And poor Kaylee, you know, she would have been 18, which is kind of hard to believe.
Yeah, but I mean, to say that your dad was abusing his own granddaughter.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
And when they were told that in the documentary, they were just like, "There's no way," you know. And and you know, if you heard about the documentary, obviously it was a lie detector test that both George and Cindy Anthony both took, and they both passed. I did have some issues with the documentary. They didn't ask Cindy, because one thing I wanted to know is I would have asked Cindy, you know, did you lie on the stand? Now, of course, she's not going to answer that question. But I would have liked to have seen her answer that question. But she didn't. You know, so this is a one-sided documentary.
Right.
But, you know, but George, you know, he passed the lie detector test about did he, you know, abuse his daughter or his granddaughter? Did he have anything to do with, you know, the murder? Did he know anything? And he passed. And they asked Cindy if she knew, you know, or if he had told her anything, you know, about the disappearance or finding her. And she, you know, was telling the truth. So, I mean, but like I said, they didn't ask her about that lie that she told. So, but like I said, I mean, I get it. You know, do I think she should have been charged with that? No. I mean, I can't imagine being in their position. I mean, I don't agree with some of the things that they did.
Right. I mean, that's you lost your granddaughter first, and then that's your kid.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, there was a
that's
lot
being charged with it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, who knows what we would do in a situation like that? You know, I could sit there and tell you what I think I would do, but honestly, until you're in that situation, we really can't judge.
And really, the only one that really knows what happens to that little girl is Casey Anthony.
Yeah. I mean, I think that she just wanted to party. She was, a young mother, way too young to have a child. She was ready, and she wanted to party.
Yep.
And, whether she chloroformed the girl to, did she do it on purpose? I don't know. I don't know. I know the prosecution claimed that she did it on purpose, because of the way the duct tape was. I don't know. I think that they did prosecute too high. I think they did push that narrative. And maybe if they hadn't pushed that narrative, there wasn't enough, rigid proof to prove that. I mean, especially the way the remains had been found.
Yeah.
Maybe if they hadn't tried so hard. But then again, though, the jury could have, given her a lesser degree as well, though. And they did. I don't know why. I know they interviewed a juror. I don't remember anything about that. But, yeah. I don't know. It might be interesting, years down the line, if they ever do an interview of the jury, to see what they would say, I know they've done that with the O.J. Simpson trial where they have, interviewed the jury, and it's interesting to note that a lot of those jurors wouldn't have come back with the same, verdict, knowing what they know now. But, that's our justice system. It's a good system. Does it always work? No. But it's still a good system.
Okay. Now we're gonna sit back, and one of the things that, coming from a criminal justice system, is let's assume
there's a huge echo. 1 minute. Is there still a huge echo? I just saw the chat.
Okay. And this one's a hard one to do because she was found innocent. But let's assume she was guilty. Why would, in your experience, why would somebody do something like that?
I think it's because all she thought about was herself. She was very impulsive. I think the impulsivity shows when she just drove around with the body in the car because she didn't know what else to do. So, okay, I'm just going to leave it in the car. I'm not going to worry about it. She just kind of went on with life till it got so bad that she had to put the body somewhere. So she puts it in, and then she just keeps going on with her life until the parents find the body in the car. Or not the body in the car. They find the car, so then she has to come up with something. So that's when she comes up with the 31 days that Zanny and the nanny has her.
So do you think it was accidental or was it done intentionally?
I don't know. I want to say it was accidental, but I don't know. So Christina Cameron says it's disgusting. She's so desperate to throw blame anywhere but on herself. Yeah, you're right. I think she's a narcissist to the core. I feel terrible for her parents. Yeah. I mean, I just don't think she gave Kaylee any consideration at all. Whether she did it, I don't think it was on purpose because she was taking her to her boyfriend's house.
Right.
But obviously she can't take her to clubs and bars and stuff. So was she just giving her chloroform to make her pass out a little bit? And then obviously she gave her too much? Or maybe she wasn't even giving. I don't know.
I hope and pray it was not intentional.
Yeah. Like I said, it's hard to say. But then again, the way she lies and then tries to throw everybody under the bus but herself.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And she I don't know. And even this last documentary she did, it was disgusting.
It was horrible.
And
you can actually,
I
believe you can watch that on, was it Hulu or Peacock?
It was Peacock.
Was it Peacock?
Yeah. I think that I should not have watched it just because to give her any.
You're the one who told me to watch it.
I know.
I was like, what the heck?
Well, I had to say. Well, no, what I'm saying is I should not have watched it to give her any money or any like time of day. But I could not help myself because I put so much of my time and effort into this case, which a lot of people did.
Oh yeah.
And so I couldn't help myself just to see, what she said.
Right.
And it was obviously very crafted in such a way to make her the person that's the victim here. And
I like, excuse me. I like how she's really stayed out of the public eye. Like, she's been hiding herself so well.
Well, people have been taking care of her.
Oh, yeah.
She's living with a detective who she works for. Which is kind of weird, but whatever.
Which brings other allegations that we won't discuss on this channel, but...
Yeah. The accusations of her father molesting her make me so angry. Yeah. And even when like, in the documentary, Christina, like, she's like all of a sudden comes to this revelation that he must have been doing the same thing to her little girl was ridiculous. And I was like, are you kidding me? To even go that far, that takes a lot of I can't even think of a word. I have no words for that. And especially because there are kids out there that have been molested or have been abused to make those claims when it's ridiculous. That makes me angry. I totally agree. But what else, Chad? What else do you think about this case? Are there any other things that you're thinking about the case that you want to talk about? Or
any other
comments, questions?
One thing I did see when I was doing some research on here that I thought was rather interesting was, I believe it's on Fox. A member of the defense team actually made claims that the attorneys knew that Casey Anthony committed the crime.
I find it interesting that Jose Baez has made because of this case, he's like now this huge big attorney now. Like he's worked on there was the football star that died.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote a book about that. He did write a book about the Casey Anthony's case. I did not read it. I did read the prosecutor's book by Jeff Ashton's. I read his book, but I did not read Jose Baez. I couldn't, because I thought it was a gross negligence to put stuff out there in his opening statement and then did not back it up with any evidence at all. And
I think the only reason why he took that case is because he knew it was a high-profile case, and money.
Yeah. And I mean, well, he did. He made a lot of money from it because before that, I
Oh yeah,
did watch an interview with him. I forget it was on YouTube, and you can like look
yeah,
him up, and there's interviews, and he was talking about how he was just like this small,
yeah,
um, small lawyer, and now he's he's making lots of money there. There's also has been allegations that there was sexual contact between Jose Baez and uh,
yeah.
Casey.
That's what they also made claims that there were several times he walked in the office, and she was
Yeah,
or
he
he
has
was half
denied
naked.
that. He has denied that, but I
Then
don't
how does
know.
she pay him?
Yeah, well, I
I mean,
mean,
come on.
she went
It,
bankrupt, so and he
yeah,
earned money by getting other cases. And like I said, he's worked on some
yeah,
pretty high profile cases since then. And to be fair, he's won some cases. So I mean, I don't know. I don't really like the way he, at least in this case, I can't really say anything
yeah.
about any other cases he's done. Susan's Echo is gone. Sounds perfect. Thanks. Um, I really can't say anything about the other cases, so I haven't really watched another one
Yeah,
of his trials. That would be kind of
yeah,
interesting, though, to watch one of his
yeah,
trials and see how he is compared compared to the Casey Anthony trial. That would be
yeah.
kind of interesting. Because remember, he couldn't even take this case without putting another lawyer because he wasn't death penalty certified. You have to have like a
Right,
death penalty certified lawyer, and he
right.
wasn't one. So that's why another lawyer had Mason. I cannot remember his first name, but the last
Yeah, I
name
know
was
who you're
Mason.
talking. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
And he came on, and I think there was another lawyer as well. I think. Yeah, it was. Denial is just a river in Egypt. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a big thing with Casey is denial, denial, denial. She just denies until she gets shown proof. So then she makes something else up, which is
And the
exactly
worst thing
kind of what
about
the
it,
prosecution said with her lies.
and the worst thing about it is she can come on and say, "Hey, look, I did kill her," and there's nothing that can be done to her.
Yeah. Now she did get prosecuted for lying to, the police, and she served her time for that. So which she didn't have to stay in jail much longer due to that because she spent so much time in jail before the case started.
Right.
But yeah, I can't think of anything else.
No, this one was
Cheney
actually shorter than I
Mason.
thought it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's who it was.
Cheney Mason. Yeah.
He's the one who had the beard and everything too, wasn't he?
Yeah, and I think he still talks to Casey, or at least he did. I
Mm.
know. I guess he was pretty close with her after the trial.
Yeah.
So, I think that's what they talked about that in the documentary. That she still like hangs out with them and he's like family, and which is kind of weird, but. I
Right.
mean, like, would you want to hang out with your lawyer and just be like family with them? I mean, I don't know. She certainly has some mental health issues that I wouldn't want to diagnose, but
Yep.
we'll let somebody else diagnose her.
Yeah, really.
But yeah, next week we will be more on. I think we'll just do the stream this way, so we won't have technical problems now that we know what we're doing. Hopefully we'll be a little bit. I'll be a little bit more prepared. What games are we doing next
You
week?
better be. I'm about to tell you here in 1 second.
If you have any ideas of cases that you want to see, please let us know in the comments below. And if you have any questions, you can also let us know in the comments below. And you can email us at siblingssleuths@gmail.com as well.
We're going to dive into the Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, the Columbine High School massacre.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Columbine. I think that one will take probably a couple weeks to do.
Yes, because there's actually some stuff that happened that a lot of people don't know about. And there's actually a very good book that I'm pulling some information from, along with from the internet. So,
all right, well, again, thank you for watching. We will be back here again on next Thursday at 6 o'clock. We will be on time next week. Hopefully,
yes.
with no tech issues, now that we know what we're doing. And again, like I said, if you have any questions, and if you like what you see, like the video, and don't forget to subscribe. And we will see you here next week at Sibling Sleuths. Bye-bye.
Bye.